So for this part of dissection, we're going to be looking at the abdominal cavity of the cat. So we are going to start off by making the Y incision to open up the abdominal cavity. Remember, this is our thoracic cavity, and we are separated here by our, yes, diaphragm. Thank you. This is our rectus abdominis, and we're going to be cutting through that. And we want to go superficial so that we can get into the intestinal tract without damaging any parts to it. So we've got this right here. I'm opening up a Y incision, going down to the groin muscle on both sides, through that abdominal muscle, exposing the abdominal cavity of our cat. So, right here is our abdominal cavity. We can see a few things right off the bat here, easy to spot. This large organ here is the liver. The liver has multiple lobes, and inside of the liver, we do have a nice sac-like organ here. The bottom side, I'll move my finger, that is the gallbladder. From there, we can lift up, we can see the stomach. This right here is the greater omentum. The greater omentum is kind of covering our small intestine, which is here. On the back side, we can see our kidneys on both sides, very easily spotting those kidneys. From there, we see a couple more things, just easily exposed. Again, we're just exposing this easy stuff. We'll go through all of them again. This is the urinary bladder right here. And from the urinary bladder, we can see directly behind that, here's our colon, our descending colon. I have a nice little picture right here of our, what is that? Can we all know? Do we? We'll go over it later. Okay, so from this we can see the mesentery here. We can see our beautiful intestinal tract, our greater omentum, our stomach, our kidney. Our kidney is really hard. Sorry, our liver is really hard. And from this, we can actually filter our blood. It's one of the only organs that you cannot live without. If your liver stops, we don't have it. But let's start by taking some of these out. So if we go up to the top side here, we can snip. There's connective tissue. On the back of the liver, we're actually going to have some arteries and veins that come down that are descending into the from the thoracic cavity into the abdominal pelvic. Those come off actually pretty quick. And from here, beautiful stomach. We can see the stomach is still connected to the esophagus here. I'm going to snip some of the connective tissue and some of the connection points. Remember, the gallbladder stores bile and delivers that to the small intestine. So there's a little duct right here on the back side of the liver connecting to the small intestinal tract, allowing for that to go through. And we can see a very large vein on the back side. So if we look at our liver here, you can see our lobes, 1, 2, 3, and look, this right here, that is your gallbladder. We can see some pigmentation within the liver as well. This liver is a little soft in spots. On the back side, though, it is has a little cirrhosis to it. It's a little hard. So let's look and see what the inside of a lobe of the liver looks like. So as we can see right here, the liver has a lot of blood vessels going to it. And so we can see the blue a little bit better than you can see the red in the video. But remember, we're filtering the blood. It's taking all the toxins out of the body. It's taking all the extra sugar and turning it into fat. This is a super important organ. And so without this organ, well, you just aren't going to make it. It is one of the organs that we can give a live transplant to. So you can just give a portion of it and it will grow back. Oh, very nice. On the back side of our stomach here, this is our spleen right here. I'm going to remove our spleen. Our spleen looks normal in size. It doesn't look enlarged. If this cat was sick or had parasites, oh, I should remove the greater omentum. Greater omentum covers the intestinal tract. Again, it's a layer, because remember we have true coeloms, so it's a layer of protective material. It does have fat in it. This one has, you can see the yellow fat. It's made of connective tissue and elastic connective tissue in that. And we can see a few things in here. One, that netting is incredible. It increases surface area. It's allowing for the distribution of nutrients. It's a protective covering, allowing for lubrication. It's also protecting your intestinal tract so they don't come in contact with the musculature behind it. And that's your greater omentum. And so we're going to finish cutting out our spleen here. Notice with all the organs, there is a layer of fat that goes with them. That's not unhealthy. Fat is good for you. In fact, these organs need that fat to maintain normal metabolic processes. And so with this, we're going to get that spleen out of here. And so we can see the spleen right here. So this isn't inflamed. It's a pretty normal looking spleen. It looks really, really healthy. So that's a good sign for this cat that it wasn't ill before it died. We can see the pancreas on the back side of it over here. So we're going to leave that to the side. We have our stomach right here. Our stomach actually has some contents in it. You can see the diaphragm, how it's hooking to the esophagus, going to the small intestine right here. There is a sphincter muscle. This sphincter is like a little clasp that allows things to go into and out of. We have a sphincter on the top too. The stronger sphincter muscle on the inferior side than the superior side, and we go into the small intestines to see the duodenum first, or the first portion of this intestinal tract. Now we're going to remove this intestinal tract, and we're going to look at the mesentery, and then we are also going to open the stomach up and see the insides of that in the next part.